just want to, I guess the whole point of this is just to talk to people and to let people know how devastating and life-altering losing a loved one, let alone your only one. So for me, it's, like a double whammy because it's my only child and my best child and my best friend too. So yeah, it was a big loss for me. But it was just so crazy that how the whole thing happened. Me and my one friend Tony, we was at my house. And we were just sitting there talking, laughing like we always do, catching up on what happened for the day, what we gonna do in the weekend, just doing girl stuff. And then somebody came and bammed at my door like the whole door felt like it was coming off the hinges, like the police was at the door. So of course it startled us. I jump up, go to the door. Next thing I know, it's a young person there, a young man. He was telling me that my son had been stabbed and it didn't look good. So of course I'm, my whole life just flashed in front of me at that point when he said that. So I jumps in my car and the whole way to the hospital, because they told me what hospital it was at, so it wasn't that far from my house. So I get in my car and I'm driving to the hospital, and I'm saying to myself, this saying my grandmother used to always tell us that the Lord would only put on you what you can bear. And I just recited that over and over and over again the whole way to the hospital, just saying it out loud to myself, just saying it over and over again. And when I got to the hospital, it felt like it was 1 million people at the hospital when I arrived. And when I got there, I was trying to figure out what room, where my son was, what was going on, what happened. And this man from, I don't even know where he came from, he just pointed to the room where they had my son in. And I went to the room, and they had the door locked or had it so I couldn't get in it. And I don't know how he opened the door, but I busted in the door and my son was laying on a table. They had, it was blood, and I could see his eyes rolling back in his head. And my mom, she tried to stop me from going in the door, but she couldn't hold me. So I'm there beside him on his bed, telling him, please don't leave me, please don't leave me, telling him I love him. And I'm watching his eyes roll up in his head, and I know he's about to die, and there's nothing I can do. So they finally got me out the room, and we went into this other room where they had us sitting for, it seemed like days, but it was just hours. And then they finally came in the room, and me and his father was there, and his grandmother and my grandmother, and just all my family and friends. And they told me that my son didn't make it, and I just fell to the ground and just asked Keith to please get him back and bring him back. And just it was just so, like, my whole life just flashed in front of me when they told me my son didn't make it. And then we went down to the room and they let us see him, and he was laying on a gurney on the table, and he was just cold. When I touched him, he was just like an ice cube. It was just like I never felt a cold dead body before. And when I touched my son, he was just ice, and he was just laying there like he was asleep, but I knew he wasn't going to wake up. And then that was just like nothing I ever thought I would ever experience in my life. And just to have him laying there cold like that, and nothing I could do, was just like the worst feeling a mother can ever have. And I can't even understand how anybody can take somebody's life for no reason and expect it not affect people or have some kind of devastating effect on somebody's life. For me, it was my friends and family that kept me strong, but it's still a struggle every day. Just like his birthday is coming up, he would have been 40 years old. 40 years old, and it still hurt like it was yesterday, but you still got to keep moving and keep pushing. But it's something you never get over, you just live with. And for me, I just wish kids would understand how devastating that their life is over. You kill somebody, now their life is over, their family's life is over. It's just so many things you don't understand until it happens. And if it's any way you can think before you act, and think about how you would feel if it happened to you and your family and someone you loved, I think that would be a deterrent, and it was something that would, you know, help us to not take each other's lives, because it was another black person that took my son's life. And if black lives matters, then our lives should matter to us too, not just when somebody else kills our people. So that's my thing. You know, we need to understand that black lives matter, but they matter for us too. We need to first practice what we preach in our own culture and save these kids, because what's going to happen when a whole generation is wiped out, and then where are we going to be at that time? So I just pray that someone sees this, understands that, you know, life is precious and you only live once, you don't come back. So if you could think about what you do and how your actions affect others, and how devastating it is to lose someone in any way, especially through murder, homicide. It's nothing that anyone wants to go through, and it's nothing that anyone wants to experience. And I just pray that someone will hear this and not take a life for no reason. And that's all I really pray for, that our generation will wake up from this killing each other mentality and start loving each other like God intended. Thank you. Girl, when he was back in Ohio, they had Head Start, and it was free for the kids. If you know your kids get Head Start for free. So I would go pick him up from school, girl. All the teacher, the kids, all of them, they sitting there, Danejer in front of the class. He just entertaining. He's singing, he's talking, whatever he's doing. They sitting there watching him like they got at a show. This is a T-shirt that my friend made for him. Put the pictures on there. I made a couple dresses too with his picture on it. I love this dress. Because my cousin, her son was murdered too, her second son. So every year she would have like a remembrance thing, and I would fly to Ohio for that. And we would get, you know, I would get something made to wear to the thing. Where everybody just want to be with Danejer. Let me talk to Danejer. Let me with Danejer. Oh. And when I used to volunteer for stuff, he used to come and help me with the kids. Girl, the kids would follow him around like kids would be following him around the store. I'd be like, Danejer, what are you doing to these kids?